welcome to my channel, and thank you so much for being here because today we are going to be doing like an old school glowy get ready with me makeup routine video, and I'm going to be using all drugstore makeup, so you're not even going to be spending a lot of money. Transparently, there will be one product that is not drugstore that I will be using, and it is my MAC powder. I don't have the perfect dupe for it, and I really want this makeup look to be like chef's kiss, like my everyday look. Transparency there, but I'm so happy you're here because I want to show you guys so badly this routine, but the fact that it's all drugstore is crazy. Okay, so with that being said, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to join us here today. And if you're feeling extra generous, give us a thumbs up and let's jump right in. For a get ready with me, skin prep is always the most important step. And today we're doing skincare from within. This is Armor Colostrum, and I like to use this every single day. Armor Colostrum contains all the vital nutrients our bodies need to thrive. It is so easy to use. This one does not have any flavor to it. You're gonna wanna do 3 to 4 scoops a day. The scoops are teeny tiny. This one doesn't have any flavor. So some people actually just pop it in their mouth, swallow it, so easy. I drink so much water throughout the day. I like to dump actually multiple scoops in my water, stir it up, let it melt and dissolve in there. There are so many benefits to this product. One, I love the skin and hair benefits. Another bonus, is so good for gut health, and another thing I like about it is that it reignites hair growth. Topicals treat the surface for beauty that starts at a cellular level. You guys have got to try the Armor Colostrum. It is now available at Ulta nationwide. The Help Revital is a game changer. Use it daily and you will notice a difference. Now that we have our Armor ingested, let's begin our topical skin prep. You guys know I love a little hydration. I always prefer something a little more gel based versus cream based. In the wintertime, sometimes I'll do a cream base, but mostly I do that in my nighttime skincare routine. Under makeup, I love a gel-based formula. So these are the Thirst Burst drops. They have a lot of hydration in them, and gel-based products are typically water-based versus oil-based, which creams are more oil-based, so they're less likely to break you out. And this just plays so nicely in giving us that glowy skin under our makeup. It does dry down. I do like to give it a couple seconds while I do my eyebrows to get this product to dry down, but I really cannot recommend it enough to you. There's also like 200 expensive gel moisturizers I could recommend to you. Truly, I love products, you guys know that, and trying them out. But we're talking about affordability today, so this is one of my absolute favorites. So we're gonna let that dry down and we are gonna go right to brows because I like to do my brows since I kind of push them down before my foundation so it doesn't leave it splotchy. I've talked about this product a million times. This is the brow lamination from L'Oreal, and I specifically love this little mini spoolie wand just because I feel like, look at that, it like grabs all of these bushy hairs and it snatches them into place. Is this the strongest brow glue on earth? No, it is not, but it's pretty darn strong for this drugstore price, and I like how it works. So I like to brush my brow hairs in place, and I will give them a tap, a little light tap with my finger, and then I'll tap them again right before they're sealed to ensure. I actually have pretty stubborn brows. I don't know if you guys could tell, but like the top part of my brows loves to grow downward, and the bottom part grows up, the top part goes down. I don't know what's going on. My lashes also grow downwards, okay? But yeah, look, I'm gonna give it a press, and these brows are more locked in place. And then what I like to do is to take a little makeup wipe and just any of that brow glue that I can feel that's gone here or above my brow, I like to get it off because when I want my makeup to look perfect, it will be blotchy right there. So we're just gonna wipe off any of that excess glue. I call it glue, but it's actually brow gel, but you guys know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, we're gonna let those dry before we fill in the brow. Actually, try to get it at a medium pace before I fill in the brow. Today, I'm going back to one of my tried and true most favorite products. This is the micro brow pencil from NYX Cosmetics. This was an ash brown, which scares me because I'm like, I feel like I normally use dark brown. Why do I have ash brown? But that's all I could find. And I'm like, have I been using ash brown this whole time? I think I have. And I am literally just penciling in my brows. I don't think I have to speak to this product too much. You guys know this has been like a dupe for the ABH Brow Wiz for like 10 years. And this is a little warm, but I think it's gonna actually end up being great for the brows. And I just like to feather in. The reason I like to do it when my brows are like at a medium stiffness is so I can still comb through them a little bit, still press them down with getting that pigment into the brow. And it just makes the biggest difference in our eyebrows. I don't talk about eyebrows enough. You know, I normally do it, skip it, and we just move on. But today, baby, we're getting in depth. Here we have my brow filled in. Here we have a non-filled in brow, and you obviously can see the difference. You can also see right here where my brow hairs like to grow downwards, and this is the part where I'll give them a little press. Now, at some point in my makeup, which we can do right now, I do like, oh, almost stabbed myself in the eye. Love that for me. I do like to take a little bit of concealer and clean up underneath, even when my underneath brows look clean, because it brightens. You guys, I'm starving right now and I need to order lunch, and I'm going to order Postmates. I've been trying to eat at home way more just for health benefits. Oh, I just messed up my brow laughing. I'm about to pause and order so that way when I'm done with this tutorial, my food will be here. Now let's get into our skin base for this prep. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. It has mineral sunscreen SPF 50, so I'm not gonna put sunscreen on. I just have my moisturizer, which is now dried down. I'm using shade number 7. A little bit of this goes a long way. This actually wears a little more like foundation than a skin tint. So as you can see, that even right there just looks like foundation. So I've really been enjoying it because it's kind of like a lightweight foundation with SPF, but it makes your skin super glowy. It's like everything into one. I do think this is one of e.l.f.'s most expensive products, but I will tell you the formula is correct. I'm just gonna use this little hourglass foundation brush to blend it out. And most of the time I don't take it all the way up to my under eye, but today I am because it is a bit of a lighter formula. Look how glowy this is, by the way. Crazy. So what I like to do is always use a brush whenever doing my foundation. I just think brushes help distribute the product a little better. You guys know I'm such a brush girl, but I just think they distribute the product a little better. And if you want that soft airbrush finish, the trick is to go in with a sponge afterwards and just tap everything out. And that's what we're gonna be doing today. So we're tapping it all around, distributing it. My forehead is pretty clear, by the way, so I put very little foundation on my forehead and none on my nose because I want my freckles to show through for that natural skin-like look. So now that we have this all blended, I will take a wet sponge. This is that Paw Paw sponge that I just mentioned to you in my Amazon Prime video. Actually, no, it wasn't in that video. It was in my affordable items that I love. These are like $9 for like 6 sponges, which is crazy. And they're so soft. But I like to do this because it doesn't absorb all my product, you know, once I've gotten it dispersed. And this just gives us that little airbrush finish. Look how dewy and glowy we are. Unbelievable. We are going to set with powder, but the glow will still come from within and be beaming out. Trust and believe. Moving on, concealer, which is my favorite part of makeup because I do have dark circles and I need them covered so badly. So we're going to old school. We're going to the Maybelline Age Rewind, one of my favorite drugstore concealers. It wears very high end. My top to this one actually broke off, so I've just been taking my brush and using it. So sad. Like, that's pitiful. Hello. So I'm just gonna brush this on here. This is where most of my darkness lives, so I like to put a lot right there, and then we can give ourselves a little lift and disbursement by adding it right there as well. I also have some discoloration in between my brows. I was born with, it's a birthmark. People will come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're so red and flush in between your brows. I'm like, oh my God, it's a birthmark. But it does just look like I'm flushed right there, and sometimes it's redder whenever I'm hot. So people think like, is something irritating your skin? And I'm like, yes, life is irritating my skin. I also have perioral dermatitis. So if you see me with redness around my face, that is what that is as well. And then when I put makeup on it to get that extra coverage from the perioral, it pisses it off worse. So, you know, it's just living life and dealing with things. The perioral things comes from food that I eat. So if I'm on really good behavior with food, it breaks out less. Whenever I eat a bag of chips, it's like, we're gonna get you today, girl. My perioral dermatitis has guided me into a healthier lifestyle because I don't want my face to break out. The reason I've been talking so much is I do like to let this set for just a second. Not too long, but it does help build the coverage. I'm gonna have the exact same approach with my concealer as I did the base foundation skin tint makeup. I'm going to tap it out lightly with a brush, and then I'll go back in with a sponge after, and I will very so gently give it a little pat just to make sure there are no brush strokes and that it looks perfect. That coverage is so beautiful from the Maybelline. I mean, it's been with us for years. You guys know the tea on that, but very light tapping to disperse this. This brush is by Lawless. I can't find my favorite BK Beauty concealer brush. It went missing, it went aloof, and I'm devastated, but it's okay. We're gonna get her back, but right now this one's really good too. So we're just tapping that out so lightly. Gorgeously done. We're gonna hit the mustache. I also have a little bit of melasma on my mustache, so it's kind of like, you know, we need that extra coverage. Okay, I'm going to put a dot more of that concealer for extra coverage. It's always important to build as you go, because that is gonna put less makeup on your face versus adding a ton on trying to get it all blended out. So now we're gonna go in with a sponge, which I do believe sponges pick up a lot of makeup, but that's okay because this is our second round. And we're just gonna tap out a little bit more, and that is gonna leave us with this perfected bright under eye with no darkness peeking through. And that is also going to add to our glowy look I love so much. Next, we're gonna get into cream blush, which is just like the creme de la creme. I'm going back to my She Glam. She Glam cream blushes, for the price, the quality is insane. Did I just say we were doing blush? We're doing cream bronzer next, and this one's only a couple of dollars, so you really don't have to break the bank. Now, sometimes when I'm being lazy and quick, I'll go and just draw on my face, like who cares? I'm just doing makeup to like fart around. But today we're doing an in-depth tutorial. So what I would actually recommend with any stick product is to rub some off warmed up on your hand, tap your brush into this, and then apply it to your face. Because as I've said many times before, it will kind of, you know, mess up your base a little bit if you go straight to the face with a stick. I'm gonna use an angled brush and we're gonna start tapping this on. Oh, it has blush on it. Hold. I'm gonna take this BK Beauty brush. Now that's more like it. That's what I want it to see. This is a warm tone that's gonna give us that glowy sun-kissed bronze look. This one is, it does not say the shade, but per usual, I will link every single product you see me use in the description box, and it will be linked to the shade that I use. For me, I like to put a little bit of bronzer on the tip of my nose. I feel like it shortens the tip and it just gives me that bronzy look. And this is a really great kabuki. This one is by BK Beauty. It's the 109. It's like a mini angled kabuki brush. And we're just gonna tap that in. I try not to swipe too much because it moves your base around. You'll see a lot of padding in my tutorials, and that is because I'm trying to keep all these cream products that we're layering on our face intact. You know what my favorite compliment is? People are like, you taught me how to do makeup, and they'll be like, you know, an adult. And I'm like, that is like the sweetest, best thing ever. And that's like, I was like, I want to do a makeup tutorial again because it's been a minute since I actually sat down and in-depth explained my routine. I especially love hitting the forehead with bronzer because that is where the sun naturally kisses. So it just makes you look so pretty and bronzy naturally. I love it. Gonna hit a little here and a little on the chin. Now we're gonna do cream blush. I always do my cream blush with the same brush that I do my contour with because I do like a little blend. So we're gonna blend that together. This is called Gold Quartz, and we're gonna apply it pretty high up. Now, as I've talked to you guys before, anytime I brought my blush through here in the past, it made my cheeks look like they were sitting so low. It aged me and made me look super heavy. So as most people do nowadays, I do like to wear my product a little higher up on my cheek because I feel like it actually gives me a lift rather than drags me down. This color is so pretty, and I'm just gonna try to tap that out without moving it too far down my cheek, and it just gives you this beautiful pinky glowy natural finish. I'm loving all the blush. I don't know how I didn't wear blush before. I'm like, what was happening? It just looks so good. It gives you like a flushed, beautiful, summery, youthful look. You see that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. We need a little more over here. Y'all, my stomach is growling. I shouldn't have filmed a tutorial on an empty stomach, but you know, it happens. We're very blushy, and I love that. And I love this glowy skin, and I low-key hate putting powder on top of it, but just being so for real with you, if I just went out like this, I would look like a mess in 10 minutes because it would all start to kind of move around, slip and slide. So powder is mandatory, but it's okay. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get it back to Glowyville. Okay, let's get into powders. So I'm gonna be using the Infallible by L'Oreal for my under eye. It does have a pink hue to it, but this pink does not show up so fiercely that it looks crazy. It's actually very light. I do like to use a velvet sponge with it, and I'm gonna load up my sponge. But the trick is in the past, I have gone in directly to my under eye with this, but this is what I do every single time on the back of my hand. I rub it out because this is gonna smooth out the powder, and it's not gonna be hunky chunky on your under eye. It's gonna be smooth as butter going on your under eye, versus if you have clumps of powder, it's not gonna go on quite as smoothly, and that is just perfected. So we finally have a good drugstore powder. Yes, God. This pink color too, this little pink hue, you can see it has a brightening effect, and it also looks really good with the blush morphed into the concealer. Oh my gosh, I just got the tip of my sponge wet. I don't even know how, which is a disaster when you're dealing with powder. So now we're gonna use the back side of our sponge. I do like to take like what's left on the sponge without like baking my whole face, but I just like to lightly disperse this all over my face. And what we're gonna do is add some powder bronzer. We're gonna add some powder blushes, which is also gonna be like another layer of setting the makeup onto our face to ensure it does not move, and it's also just gonna make it a little more fierce and gorgeous. Okay, one old school trick that I always did, if you feel like you brought your bronzer down too low, there is a cleanup trick, obviously with translucent powder, just to kind of give it a scoop and let that set for a second. It is gonna create a little bit of a heavier look because obviously you're adding more, but it is gonna sharpen up and define that area. So if you wanna add that, feel free to, or skip that step if you're like, no, we're looking good, girl, we don't need all that. I'm just gonna lightly tap that in. And that looks so sharp, beautiful, and clean right there. Love it. I do powder highlights. I know you didn't see me put on a liquid highlight, and that's because I added these powders onto my face, which just pretty much would have matted it out. So I skipped that, but powder highlights we'll get into. For powder bronzer, I would prefer one with like maybe the tiniest bit of shimmer. This one's pretty matte flat. This is the Primer Infused Bronzer by e.l.f. It's a very nice, affordable bronzer. And I'm just gonna swirl my brush around in it and get just a little bit, and we're just gonna enhance our bronzy look. You can already tell that enhancement from it. It is so nice from e.l.f. And then what we're also doing is we're setting our bronzer and enhancing it from before. It looks cool tone, but as you can see, whenever I blend it in, it like has a slight warmth to it, which looks so pretty on your skin. And I like to take this and just lightly buff the chin with it, around the jaw, just a little bit, the nosy posy. Okay, our blush is still blushing, but I am gonna go in with a little bit of the Wet n Wild blush. This one is in Pinch Me Pink. It's so pretty. Okay, picking it up, you can see how pigmented it is, and I am going to target it on the side of my face, not the front of my face, because that is how I always do my blush. Per usual, I'm gonna just buff it into the eye a little bit. Nothing too crazy because I don't want a pink eye, but I am barely wisping the brush across my face just to give it a little bit of a fusion right there. We're gonna tap into our pink, so pretty. And again, we're just gonna tap it into the eyelid and not bring it down too far, but we're just gonna fuse everything together. And this just gives us that summery, beachy, gorgeous, glowy, everyday makeup look. Love it. I like to take a brush that is wispy and not very dense to do highlighter, because I'm not going for a 2016 highlight. I am going for a natural, beautiful glow on the face, and you can see that's what this does. So I don't want like a white streak on my face. Honestly, this is enough, because by the time you set it and you're like glowy right there, like that looks so natural. It doesn't like there's makeup that's making me shimmery there. I mean, hello, there's blush, but the shimmer aspect shouldn't look too crazy. And I just like to wisp it, and then always do my nose with either my finger or an eyeshadow brush, because you can get more defined. So I'm gonna take this little detail brush and I'm gonna wisp it, and then this is where I'm just gonna place this up the nose. I do like a spotlighty nose, you know, you can do as much as you want, but I feel like it kind of pinches the nose in whenever you bring that light to the center right there. And then if you want to, you can add a little to the lip. Isn't that so pretty? Like, oh, gorgeous. This is 201 Daybreak, and it's been my favorite for like since they came out with it. I need to find a new one, I know. Okay, let's jump into the eyes. This has just been one of my favorite eye palettes. It's so pretty. It does kind of look similar to the Patrick Ta one, but it's not like a direct ripoff. It is different in colors, but I do love these warmy, mauvey, pretty browns in here that are matte. It also has incredible foiled eyeshadows, as well as these you can use as a base or like a liquid liner. So much to offer in this palette. I'll link it for you guys, but it's incredible. Since we are kind of blushy every day and today, I like to take a mauve color like this that isn't too fierce. First, I like to punch it in like that. So what I'm doing is taking, punching, and what we're doing is placing the color, and then I like to go in and blend it out like that. So that way it's fused, it's seamless. Whenever you start blending without punching it in, you're diffusing a lot of your color. So if you don't want to build up color, good, do that. But if you do want to build up a little color at the end of your eye, give it a little stack, like a little push, and then do those small circular motions. You can even blend with a clean brush if you need to. And that gives you like that flawless built up color. It's so pretty. I don't do a lot of eyeshadow on the daily, so I'm not gonna do a ton of eyeshadow because this is like my everyday routine, how I wear my makeup. I think it also is the most flattering on me. I love 2016 makeup, don't ever get me wrong, but I do feel like just the weight of it and how heavy it was, gorgeous as it was, it did age me a little bit, and this gives me a little more of a youthful appearance. And as you can see, the blush and the eyeshadow are marrying together perfectly. That's part of the reason why I opt for pinkier undertone nudie neutrals because they do flush right in with the blush and they just look so natural and pretty on the eye. Done. Okay, because these are so fiercely foiled, crazy. I actually don't wear that every day because I go for something so much more natural than that. So we are gonna go back to our skin lights and just take our highlighter shade, whatever light gorgeous highlighter you're using, and that's what I would use on my eyelid, or a matte. Actually, I would use like that peachy matte would be perfect, but I'm gonna use the skin lights. I think I wanna do a little shimmer today. I'm gonna take this tiny brush, which I am pretty sure is from like 2018. It's one of the ABH brushes that used to come in their palette. By the way, how pretty is that? Like, do you see that like champagne? Ah! It's like a flush of color, and I'm going to just apply this to the lid and then blend it on into the matte shadow. But because I'm not like packing on and building up color, this is gonna give me like a wisp of shimmer. And then as Mario taught us, we're gonna hit the brow bone, but we always do the center rather than the tail end, because that is going to keep the light to the center of our face and give us that nice, beautiful, natural lift. You can even build this up a little bit. You can get it into the corner of your eye, which I like to do right there to open her up. I also like to do this with that MAC powder, which we're about to come back to because I have to show you. Just steadily in, hang with me because I absolutely have got to show you that finishing touch that makes all the brightening difference in the world. But right now we're just lightly buffing this gorgeous highlighter onto the lid for the most natural, gorgeous makeup look. Because I have such big round eyeballs and my eyelids are kind of like deep, there's eyelid space, it makes me an eyeliner girly just because I feel like kind of shrinks the eyelid a little and elongates the eye. So I'm always gonna do a little bit of liner, especially if we're talking like Larlarlee everyday makeup. So I have to do that tutorial. I'm gonna do a little wing. I'm gonna be right back. Okay guys, we've got this eye to perfection over here. I'm gonna do this one. So it's very simple. We're gonna add our lash panorama. This is by L'Oreal. I like this mascara because I feel like it does really separate your lashes without getting too heavy. I typically leave mascara on my bottom lashes because it kind of weighs my round my eyeballs. It kind of pulls them down. Whenever I'm doing like a dramatic look or going out, I will add the bottom mascara with some liner, but I feel like it is a heavier look, and this is like my go-to daily look. I do never add, you know, that mascara down there just to keep it light and fresh. And then I'm gonna add the in piece of a little lash like I did over here. It's not too crazy. I just like something to give me just a little bit of like oomph to the eyes. You know, like I need a hair more than what my eyelashes give me, and that's because I'm wearing eyeshadow and eyeliner. Now, if I wasn't, I just curl my lashes and I go, and I don't. But whenever I'm doing this, we're gonna add a little lash. This is what our eyes look like. I love the finished look. Now we're gonna finish off the lips. So I've talked about this 100 times. It's only a couple dollars. The e.l.f. lip liners are ridiculously creamy and delicious, and I always like to go in with a little more of a brown color to define my lips because they get lost in the sauce of all the makeup. So we're gonna bring them back. But I am using this, I think it's called like Spill the Tea lip liner from e.l.f. and it is divine. This lip stain by e.l.f. is the best of the best. It's called Cherry Cola. Oh my God, it gives you the most 90s sickest lips. And I like to use this as a base for my lips as well because it makes my lippy last. It is a dupe for the Benetint. But this one's a little deeper. It has like that beautiful brownie undertone to it. Oh my God, I love this color. Because I like a little bit of nude to the lips, I'm gonna take my busted old Jennifer Coolidge X e.l.f. lippy and just add like that little kiss and nude. I do like the lip stain under it because it makes it last longer. Now we're gonna go in finally with a little bit of NC20, which is obviously a much lighter color than my natural skin tone. And I always just do this with it. I've been doing this for years and years because, honey, this puts a velvet bright filter to my under eye. It is like magic dust. Okay, this is pretty thick foundation powder though, I will tell you. But the brightening powder behind this is crazy and I just can't not do it. You just want to make sure you got it all blended in nicely and it just gives you like that brighty-eyed, bushy-tailed, and awake. Okay, and then back to the glowiness. I personally love the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. I also love the One Skin one and the Dabble one. Those are the three that I think make you the glowy. The One Skin is not the lock-in one. It's their glass skin version. But this one is power gripping, but it's also super dewy. So you're gonna see me use a ton of this because the mister on it is so baby light that it does not soak your face, but I will soak my face with it. And then you can just tap out any excess splotchiness and get any of those. If you have hairs on your face, if you can like tap it and it will just mush that right into the hair so you won't have, you know, it bouncing off. But oh my God, look how pretty. All that enhance and glow is gonna come back out through a little setting spray like this. And this look, it's light, it's gorgeous, it's not natural, but it is an everyday look for me where it is on the lighter side of things for me. And I just love how it looks. I love the blushiness. But any final steps, I always tweak. I'll add like a faux freckle. I'll add like a touch of more blush, something like that. But this is pretty much for the main part, my finished look. Now, if you want a glossy look, I'm gonna recommend to you these Super Peptides by Essence. They're only $5 each and they are gorgeous. They are a thicker formula, but they're not sticky to me at all. I always just put this clear one in my purse and I just throw it on my lips if I want a little gloss. Look, it's dirty because I always just go like this. Little bit of clear gloss. Rub it in and so high shiny. These are the best lip balms. They smell and taste so good and they have really great ingredients in them. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And what can I say, guys? We're back to the get ready with me's and I love it. I feel like I could use just like a tiny pinch more blush. Y'all are like, Laura, you definitely have enough blush on, but we're still adding. We're still adding, sister. Oh, we added a lot on that cheek. Okay. Oh, we're blushing today. I love it. Bring back the 80s. I don't care. Do not forget to check out Armra. It is incredible. Add it into your daily routine and reap the multi benefits. Get the glowy skin from within. It is incredible. It's available at Ulta nationwide. And that is it for today's video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Every single item I used will be linked in the description box down below. Don't forget to subscribe and join us here today and give me a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.